The apartment door slams so hard the cheap frame splinters. "You think you can just walk away from me?" Derek's voice is sharp enough to cut glass, and Maya stumbles backward into the kitchen counter, her hip catching the edge hard enough to bruise. "After everything I've done for you?" Her hands are shaking. They won't stop shaking. She presses them against the laminate countertop, trying to anchor herself to something solid, something real. "Derek, please. I just need some space to think." "Space?" He laughs, but there's nothing funny in it. Nothing human. "You need space? I paid your rent for 3 months, Maya. 3 months. You think that was charity?" The knife block is right there, right behind her. She saw him looking at it 5 minutes ago, saw the way his eyes lingered on the biggest handle. The one connected to the chef's knife she uses to cut vegetables for the soup kitchen where she volunteers. Used to volunteer, before Derek decided she was spending too much time away from him. "I'll pay you back," she whispers, and she hates how small her voice sounds. She's 28 years old. She has a college degree. She once gave a presentation to 200 people without breaking a sweat. But right now, in her own kitchen, she sounds like a child's. "Every penny, Derek, I promise." He moves closer. He's not a big man, 5'10", maybe 170, but he's between her and the door now, and that makes him massive. That makes him everything. "You'll pay me back? With what? Your little food delivery job?" He spits the words out like they're rotten. "Driving around in that piece of junk car, bringing pad thai to lazy people too pathetic to cook. It's honest work." She doesn't know why she's defending it. Doesn't know why she's defending anything. She should be running, should be screaming, should be doing literally anything except standing here, trapped between her boyfriend of 8 months and the kitchen counter, watching his hand drift toward the knife block. Honest. Derek's laugh is worse this time. Brittle. Broken. "You want to talk about honest? How about honestly telling me where you were last Tuesday night?" "I told you. I was working." "Liar!" His hand shoots out and suddenly the chef's knife isn't in the block anymore. It's in his hand. 8 inches of German steel catching the overhead light. "You were with someone. I know you were." "Who was it, Maya? Who's the guy?" There is no guy. There's never been a guy. There's been work and exhaustion, and the slowly dawning realization that the man she thought was protective is actually possessive, that the man she thought was caring is actually controlling, that the man she thought loved her actually just wants to own her. "Put the knife down." Her voice is steadier now. Fear does funny things sometimes. Sometimes it makes you small. Sometimes it makes you cold and clear and very, very focused. "Put it down and leave. We're done, Derek. I mean it this time." "You don't get to decide when we're done." He's not yelling anymore. That's worse. The yelling she could handle. This quiet, measured tone. This is the voice of someone who's made a decision. "I decide. Me. And I've decided that if I can't have you..." Her phone buzzes in her pocket. It's the Deli Dash app. She's been logged in for the last hour, waiting for an order. Any order. Something to pay for the groceries she couldn't afford this week. Something to chip away at the debt she somehow accumulated just by existing in Derek's orbit. "Don't you dare," Derek says, but she's already pulling the phone out, already swiping. Already accepting the order because maybe, just maybe, if she has somewhere to be, if she has a reason to leave. "I have a delivery," she says. The app shows the restaurant, Lombardi's Italian. Pickup in 15 minutes. Delivery address somewhere in the hills. The tip alone is $40. "I have to go." "You're not going anywhere." But she is. She's sliding sideways along the counter, keeping her eyes on the knife, on Derek's face, on the space between them. "I'm going. You can stay here or you can leave. But I'm going." "Maya." She's at the door. Her keys are in her purse. Her purse is by the couch. She has to pass him to get it. The knife catches the light again. "Okay," she says quietly. "Okay. Keep the purse. Keep everything. I just need my car keys." They're hanging by the door, right where she always leaves them. Her one smart habit in a year of increasingly stupid choices. I'm taking the delivery. I'll be gone an hour. When I get back, I want you gone. She doesn't wait for an answer. She grabs the keys and she's out the door and down the stairs, and she doesn't breathe until she's in her car with the locks clicked and the engine turning over. Her hands are still shaking. The restaurant is only 6 minutes away. She makes it in 4. Lombardi's is the kind of place that has cloth napkins and a wine list and waiters who look down their noses at delivery drivers. Maya's picked up from here a dozen times. They always make her wait. Always make her feel like she's intruding on something refined and important. Tonight, she doesn't care. Tonight, she stands at the pickup counter and tries not to cry while the hostess, a blonde woman with perfect lipstick and judgmental eyes, takes her sweet time checking the order. "You're Maya Rodriguez?" the hostess asks, like maybe Maya stole someone's phone and is running some kind of food delivery scam. "Yes." "For Beaumont?" "Yes." She doesn't know who Beaumont is. Doesn't care. She just needs the food and the address and something to do with her hands that isn't calling the police to report that her ex-boyfriend threatened her with a knife in her own kitchen. Ex-boyfriend. The word feels good. Final. The hostess disappears into the back. Maya pulls out her phone. Her hands are steadier now, but her heart is still racing. She opens her messages. Types out a text to her sister Jen. "Need to crash at your place tonight. Long story. We'll explain later." Jen's response is immediate. "Doors open. You okay?" Maya doesn't answer that. She's not okay. Hasn't been okay for months, probably. But she'll be okay. She'll get through this delivery, collect the $40 tip, drive to Jen's apartment in Burbank, and tomorrow she'll figure out how to get her stuff out of her own apartment without running into Derek. Tomorrow. She can make it to tomorrow. The hostess returns with 2 large bags. The smell of garlic and basil wafts up. "Here," she says, not quite making eye contact. The customer added a note, said it's important. Maya takes the bags. They're heavy. Good. Heavy means expensive, means a generous customer, means maybe she can afford to buy Jen dinner as a thank you. She balances the bags in one arm and checks her phone for the note. Her blood turns to ice. The note says, "Please help me." He's got a knife, delivering to 1847 Nightingale Drive. He won't let me leave. For a second, just one terrible second, Maya thinks this is Derek. That somehow Derek got into the app, changed the order, is messing with her. But that's crazy. Derek doesn't know her password. Derek doesn't know anything about the app except that he hates it. This is someone else. Someone else trapped with a man with a knife. She stares at the note, at the address. 1847 Nightingale Drive. That's 15 minutes away. Huge houses up there. Gated driveways. The kind of neighborhood where people have security systems and landscapers, and probably don't even answer their own doors. She should cancel. Should report this to Deli-Dash support. Should call the police and let them handle it, because this is exactly the kind of situation that gets delivery drivers killed. But she's already in her car. Already typing the address into her GPS. Already thinking about another woman, in another kitchen, watching another knife. The drive takes 17 minutes because she hits every red light between Lombardi's and the hills. The whole way she keeps checking her phone. Keeps hoping for an update. Never mind, false alarm, or a wrong note, sorry, or literally anything, except the silence that stretches like a scream. Nightingale Drive winds up into the hills like a snake. The houses get bigger. The driveways get longer. Maya's 10-year-old Honda Civic sounds like it's dying with every curve. By the time she reaches 1847, her gas light is on and her nerves are shot. The house is massive. Not mansion massive, but close. 3 stories, modern architecture, floor-to-ceiling windows that glow gold in the evening light. The gate is open. That's the first weird thing. Houses like this don't leave their gates open. Maya pulls up to the circular driveway and parks. She sits there for a moment, engine running, hands on the wheel. This is stupid. This is so incredibly stupid. She should call the police right now. Should report the note and the address and let trained professionals handle whatever is happening inside that house. But what if they don't come in time? What if the woman who sent that note is bleeding out on Italian marble while Maya sits in her car debating the ethics of getting involved? She kills the engine, grabs the food bags, takes a breath that doesn't quite fill her lungs. The front door is 30 feet away. She can do 30 feet. The walkway is lined with solar lights. They flicker on as she approaches, motion activated, and somehow that's the most normal thing that's happened all night. She reaches the door. It's one of those heavy wooden things that probably cost more than her car. There's a doorbell, a ring camera, evidence. If something goes wrong, at least there will be evidence. She rings the bell. Nothing happens. She waits. Counts to 30. Rings again. Still nothing. She's about to turn around, about to get back in her car and call the police and let this be someone else's problem, when the door opens. The man standing there is not what she expected. She's not sure what she expected. Someone obviously dangerous, maybe. Someone who looks like Derek did 30 minutes ago, all sharp edges and barely contained violence. This man looks like he belongs in a cologne commercial. 6'2", maybe 6'3". Dark hair swept back from a face that's all angles and intensity. Expensive suit, no tie. Steel gray eyes that lock onto her face and don't let go. "You're late," he says. His voice is low, controlled. The kind of voice that doesn't need to yell to be heard. Maya holds up the bags. "I have your order from Lombardi's." "For Beaumont?" "Yes." He doesn't take the bags, doesn't move, just stands there in the doorway like he's waiting for her to do something, say something. "Did you read the note?" Her heart stops, starts again too fast. Yes, I read it." "And you came anyway?" She doesn't know how to answer that. Yes, she came anyway. Yes, she's an idiot. Yes, she's standing on the doorstep of a stranger's house at 8:30 on a Thursday night because another woman might be in danger. Is she okay? The person who wrote the note? Something flickers across his face. Not quite a smile. Not quite anything. That depends on your definition of okay. "I can call the police," Maya says quickly. "No police." He says it quietly, but there's steel underneath. "Come inside." "Come inside, Maya." She freezes. "How do you know my name?" "It's on the app." He holds up his phone, shows her the screen. There's her profile picture, the one she took 3 years ago when she still smiled in photos. And her name and her rating. 4.9 stars. "Come inside, we need to talk." This is the moment. This is where she runs. This is where she drops the bags and sprints back to her car and drives straight to the nearest police station and never, ever accepts another delivery order from a stranger's house in the hills. But she doesn't run. Because somewhere behind this man, somewhere in this house, there might be a woman who sent a desperate note. And Maya knows what it's like to be desperate, knows what it's like to need help and not know if it will come. She steps inside. The interior is even more impressive than the exterior. Marble floors. High ceilings. Art on the walls that looks like it belongs in a museum. Everything is clean, ordered, perfect, and empty. "Where is she?" Maya asks. "The woman who wrote the note." The man closes the door behind her. The sound of it clicking shut is very loud in the quiet house. There is no woman. Ice floods her veins. "What?" "I wrote the note." He takes the bags from her hands, sets them on a side table. "I needed to see if you'd come." She backs up. Her shoulder hits the door. That's not funny. You can't just..." "I'm not trying to be funny." He's watching her the way a scientist watches an experiment. Interested. Intent. "I needed to know if you were the kind of person who would help, even when it was dangerous, even when it was stupid." "Why?" The word comes out broken. "Why would you..." "Because 20 minutes ago, someone in the Deli Dash system flagged an order, my order, said there was suspicious activity, a note in the customer instructions that got deleted before the driver could see it." He pulls out his phone again, shows her a screenshot. "Except it wasn't deleted. Not quite. There was a lag, a system glitch. For 30 seconds, this note was visible. Maya stares at the screenshot, at the words that mirror exactly what she read. Please help me. He's got a knife. Delivering to 1847 Nightingale Drive. He won't let me leave. But these aren't the same words. These are similar, but different. The address is different. The plea is different. I don't understand, she whispers. That note wasn't for my order, the man says. It was for yours. Someone put it in your order. Someone who knew you'd be picking up from Lombardi's tonight. Someone who wanted to scare you, or threaten you, or Derek. His name tastes like poison. Derek did this. Who's Derek? She slides down the door until she's sitting on the marble floor. Her legs won't hold her anymore. My ex. He had a knife tonight. In my apartment. I left to take this delivery and she looks up at the man who is not attacking her, who is not threatening her, who apparently just manipulated her into coming to his house for reasons she still doesn't understand. How did you know about the note? I monitor things, he says simply. Systems, patterns, anomalies. I saw the note, saw it was wrong, saw that someone was using the app to harass a driver. I had my order rerouted, changed the note to match, wanted to see what you'd do. That's insane. Yes? He crouches down so they're eye level. Up close. His face is even more intense. There's a scar above his left eyebrow. A thin, white line that speaks of violence survived. But it worked. You came, which means you're either very brave or very stupid. I'm very stupid, Maya says. She's shaking again. The adrenaline is wearing off and she's shaking, and she's sitting on a stranger's floor in a stranger's house, and Derek is probably still in her apartment, and she has nowhere to go except her sister's couch. I'm so stupid. No. The man's voice is gentler now. Brave. Definitely brave. I don't feel brave. Brave people never do. He stands, offers her a hand. My name is Gabriel Beaumont, and I think we should call the police about your ex-boyfriend. She takes his hand. Lets him pull her up. His grip is solid. Warm. Nothing like Derek's hands, which were always cold and clammy and somehow too tight. I don't have proof. It's just a note. He'll say it wasn't him. It was him. The note was sent from an IP address registered to a Derek Morrison. Same person who's been flagged for creating multiple fake accounts to track your deliveries for the past 3 weeks. Gabriel walks to the kitchen, because of course this house has a kitchen that's bigger than Maya's entire apartment, and pulls out a laptop. He's been following you, every delivery, every route, probably has your location shared whether you know it or not. The implications hit her like a truck. For 3 weeks, at least, Gabriel turns the laptop so she can see. There's a map, little dots marking locations, dozens of them. Every delivery she's made since she told Derek she wanted to take a break. Oh God, she whispers. I'm calling the police, Gabriel says. It's not a question. And you're going to tell them everything. The knife, the threats, the stalking, all of it. He'll just what? Come after you? No, he won't. Gabriel's voice drops to something that makes the air feel colder. Because I'm going to make sure he doesn't. Maya looks at him. Really looks at him. At the expensive suit and the perfect house and the way he talks about monitoring systems and rerouting orders like it's the most normal thing in the world. Who are you? Really? Someone who doesn't like men who threaten women. That's not an answer. It's the only answer that matters right now. He pulls out his phone. Police or no police? Your choice. But if you say no, I'm handling this my way. There's something in his tone that makes her believe him. Makes her believe that his way would be effective and final and probably not entirely legal. Police, she says quietly. I want to do this right. Gabriel nods. Dials. While he's talking to the dispatcher, Maya sinks into one of the kitchen chairs and stares at the marble countertop, and wonders how her life became a badly written thriller in the space of 2 hours. The police arrived 20 minutes later. 2 officers, one older, weathered, the kind who's seen everything, one younger, still eager, taking notes like his life depends on it. They take her statement in Gabriel's living room while he hovers nearby, not quite in the conversation but not quite out of it either. She tells them everything: the fights, the control, the knife, the note. She shows them the screenshots, the order history, the evidence that Gabriel somehow compiled in less than an hour. The older officer, his name is Martinez, listens without interrupting. When she's done, he looks at Gabrielle. "And you are?" "Gabriel Beaumont, the homeowner." "How do you know Ms. Rodriguez?" "I don't. She delivered my dinner. I saw the note. I got concerned." Martinez doesn't look convinced, but he doesn't push. "We'll send officers to Ms. Rodriguez's apartment. See if Mr. Morrison is still there. In the meantime, I'd suggest Ms. Rodriguez stay somewhere else tonight." "She can stay here," Gabriel says. Both officers look at him. Maya looks at him. He says it so casually, like offering a complete stranger a room in his massive house is perfectly normal. "I don't think," Maya starts. "You said your sister's place is in Burbank. That's 40 minutes away. It's almost 10. You're exhausted. There are 4 guest rooms here. Pick one." Gabriel looks at Martinez. "Problem?" Martinez shrugs. "Your house, your rules. Ms. Rodriguez, you have my card. Call if you need anything. We'll be in touch." They leave. The house is quiet again. Maya sits on the couch and stares at her hands and tries to process the fact that she's apparently spending the night in a stranger's mansion. "You don't have to stay," Gabriel says. He's leaning against the doorframe, hands in his pockets, looking more relaxed than any man should look after dealing with police and stalkers and delivery drivers with nightmare ex-boyfriends. But the offer's genuine. Guest rooms are upstairs. Pick anyone except the one at the end of the hall. "That's mine." "Why are you doing this?" Maya asks. "You don't know me. You don't owe me anything. Maybe I don't like debts." "What debt?" "You came when you thought someone needed help. Even though it was dangerous. Even though it was stupid." He smiles, and it transforms his face from intense to almost handsome. "That's worth something. Besides, your food's getting cold." She'd forgotten about the food. The bags are still on the side table by the door. "You should eat." "We should eat," Gabriel corrects. "Have you had dinner?" She hasn't. She was supposed to eat after her shift, but then Derek showed up and her phone buzzes. "It's Martinez. Officers at your apartment. Morrison is gone. Left a note. You'll want to see this." Her stomach drops. "He left a note." Gabriel's expression darkens. "What kind of note?" "I don't know." Martinez just said... Her phone buzzes again. This time it's a photo. A picture of her kitchen counter. A piece of paper with Derek's handwriting. The words are messy, angry, bleeding ink like he pressed too hard. "You'll regret this. I promise." She shows Gabriel the phone, watches his jaw tighten, watches something cold and dangerous slide behind his eyes. "Okay," he says quietly. "Change of plans." "What?" "You're not just staying tonight. You're staying until this is resolved." "I can't." "You can. You will." He takes the phone from her hands, studies the photo. Men like this don't stop. They escalate. They come back. He stops, takes a breath. "You're not safe at your apartment. You're not safe at your sister's place because he knows where she lives. You told him, didn't you? At some point, in some conversation, you mentioned your sister's address." Maya's blood runs cold. She'd mentioned it. Just once in passing, but Derek had asked for the address in case of emergency, and she'd given it to him because that's what you do when you trust someone. "He knows where Jen lives," she whispers. "Then you stay here, where he doesn't know to look, where I can make sure you're safe. You don't even know me." "I know enough." Gabriel hands her phone back. "I know you're brave enough to help a stranger. I know you're smart enough to leave a dangerous situation. I know you deserve better than a man who threatens you with knives and leaves notes promising revenge. He pauses. And I know how this ends if you don't take this seriously. There's something in his voice, something that says he's not guessing. He knows. He's seen this before. Maybe lived it. Okay, Maya says quietly. Okay, I'll stay. Just for a few days, until the police. As long as you need. Gabriel moves toward the kitchen. Now come eat. Lombardi's makes terrible food, but it's better than nothing. The food is actually excellent. They eat at the kitchen island, paper plates, because Gabriel apparently doesn't believe in washing dishes when disposable exists. He asks her questions, easy ones, about her job, her family, her life before Derek. She answers, surprised by how easy it is to talk to him, how he listens like he actually cares about the answers. So you do this full-time? He asks. Food delivery? For now. I had a job in marketing, but... She shrugs. Company downsized. I was young. Expendable. I've been picking up gig work while I look for something permanent. And Derek? Met him at a coffee shop 6 months after I lost my job. He seemed... She laughs, but it's bitter. He seemed stable, like he had his life together. Turns out, he just had me fooled. Gabriel nods slowly. You'll find something better. Job and man. You sound pretty confident about that. I am. He stands, starts clearing plates. You're smart, capable, and brave enough to walk into a stranger's house because you thought someone needed help. That's rare. Or stupid. We've covered this. Definitely brave. He tosses the plates in the trash, then leans against the counter. Guest rooms are upstairs, 3rd door on the left, bathroom attached. There should be spare toiletries in the cabinet. If you need clothes, I'll figure something out tomorrow. I can have someone pick up your things from your apartment. She stares at him. You can have someone. Who are you, Gabriel? He smiles. Someone with resources. That's not an answer. It's the only one I'm giving tonight. He pushes off the counter. Get some sleep, Maya. Tomorrow we'll figure out the rest. She wants to argue, wants to demand real answers, but she's exhausted, and the idea of a guest room with an attached bathroom and no Derek sounds like heaven. The room is beautiful. King-size bed with white linens, windows overlooking the city lights, a bathroom with a shower that has 6 different heads and enough water pressure to strip paint. Maya stands under the water for 20 minutes, washing away the day, the fear, the feeling of Derek's eyes on her. When she finally emerges, wrapped in a towel that's softer than anything she owns, her phone is buzzing. Jen, police just left. Said you're staying somewhere safe? What happened? Maya types out a response. Long story. I'm okay. We'll explain tomorrow. Then another text. Unknown number. This is Martinez. Morrison's car was spotted near your sister's apartment. Officers are doing extra patrols tonight. Stay where you are. Her hands shake. Derek went to Jen's place. Derek was going to... A knock on the door makes her jump. Maya? Gabriel's voice, muffled through the wood. You okay? I heard your phone. She opens the door, still wrapped in the towel, not caring. Derek's at Jen's, or he was. Gabriel's already pulling out his phone. Address? She gives it to him, watches him type out a text to someone. What are you doing? Making sure your sister is safe. The police are stretched thin and Derek knows that. He finishes the text. I have people who can be there in 10 minutes. They'll watch the building, make sure he doesn't come back. What people? He looks at her then, really looks at her. People who owe me favors. And they'll just... What? Stand guard outside my sister's building? Yes. Why? Because I asked them to. He steps back. Get dressed. Come downstairs when you're ready. We need to talk. By the time she makes it downstairs, wearing the same clothes from earlier because she has literally nothing else, Gabriel is in what appears to be an office. Floor-to-ceiling bookshelves, A desk that probably cost more than her car. Multiple monitors showing. Security feeds, at least a dozen of them. Different angles of different buildings. One of them is definitely Jen's apartment building. What is this? Maya asks. Insurance. Gabriel doesn't look away from the screens. Your sister's building, your apartment, this house. I like to know what's happening. This is, Gabriel, this is surveillance. This is necessary. He finally turns to look at her. You asked who I am, I'll tell you. But once I do, you can't unhear it. Her mouth goes dry. Okay. I'm a businessman. I own properties, invest in companies, make deals. He pauses. Some of those deals are not entirely legal. She should run. Should grab her keys and her phone and get out of this house before whatever this is becomes something she can't escape. But she doesn't run. Because Derek is out there. Because Derek knows where her sister lives. Because for the first time in 8 months, she feels safe. What kind of deals? She asks quietly. The kind that keep bad people from doing bad things to good people. He stands, moves closer. I'm not a good man, Maya. I've done things that would send me to prison if anyone could prove them. But I have rules, lines I don't cross, and one of those lines is men who hurt women. So you're what? Some kind of vigilante? I'm someone who has resources and isn't afraid to use them. He's close enough now that she can see the scar above his eyebrow up close. See the way his eyes aren't quite gray. There's blue in them too. Green. Colors that shift depending on the light. Your ex-boyfriend is a problem. I can make problems disappear. You're talking about killing him. The words come out flat, shocked. I'm talking about making sure he never bothers you again. Gabriel reaches out, tucks a strand of her wet hair behind her ear. The gesture is so gentle it makes her chest ache. But only if you want me to. This is your choice. Police or me. Legal or effective, Maya finishes. She's shaking again, but not from fear. From something else, something that feels dangerously like hope. You'd really do that? For someone you just met? Yes. Why? Because I can. Because I should. Because... He stops. Steps back. Because 10 years ago, I had someone I cared about. And a man like Derek came into her life, and I didn't have the resources then that I have now. I couldn't protect her, couldn't stop him. And he doesn't finish. Doesn't need to. Maya understands. I'm sorry, she whispers. Don't be sorry. Be smart. Gabriel turns back to the monitors. Derek Morrison works at a car dealership, makes $43,000 a year, rents a studio apartment in North Hollywood, has a history of complaints from ex-girlfriends, 3 restraining orders in 4 years, all of them dropped because the women got scared. How do you know all this? I told you, I monitor things. He pulls up a file on one of the monitors. Derek's face stares back at her. Driver's license photo. He looks normal. Handsome, even. Not like someone who threatens people with knives. He's escalating. The note at your apartment. That's not someone who's going to stop. That's someone who's building to something worse. Maya's legs give out. She sinks into a chair. So, what do I do? You let me handle it. Handle it how? Gabriel finally looks at her. Do you really want to know? She should say yes, should demand details, should insist on knowing exactly what handle it means. But she doesn't, because sometimes ignorance is armor. Sometimes not knowing is the only way to survive. Make him go away, she says quietly. I don't care how. Just make him go away. Gabriel nods once. Consider it done. The next 3 days pass in a strange, suspended reality. Maya stays in the guest room, eats meals with Gabriel, watches him work from home, though she's never entirely sure what that work entails. He takes calls in different languages. Russian, she thinks. Maybe Italian. He types on his laptop with the kind of focus that suggests he's moving money or people or things that shouldn't be moved. She doesn't ask questions. He doesn't offer explanations. On the third day, Martinez calls. Ms. Rodriguez? Good news. Derek Morrison has been arrested. Her heart stops. For what? Outstanding warrants. Turns out he had several unpaid traffic violations that escalated to bench warrants. He was picked up yesterday during a routine traffic stop. Martinez pauses. He also failed a sobriety test. DUI charge. He's looking at 6 months minimum. 6 months. It's not forever, but it's something. It's breathing room. Thank you, Maya says. Thank you so much. After she hangs up, she finds Gabriel in the kitchen, making coffee. Derek's in jail. I heard. He doesn't look surprised. Doesn't look anything. You're safe now. For 6 months. For longer than that. He hands her a mug. By the time he gets out, you'll be gone. New apartment, new city if you want. New job, new life. You can't just... Gabriel, I can't start over from nothing. You're not starting from nothing. You're starting from here. He leans against the counter. I have a position available. Executive assistant. Pays $90,000 a year plus benefits. Hours are flexible. Work is mostly organizational. Scheduling, correspondence, managing properties. You'd be good at it. She stares at him. You're offering me a job? I'm offering you a way out. I can't just accept charity. It's not charity. I need someone smart, capable, and trustworthy. Someone who won't ask too many questions but will know when something's wrong. Someone who came to a stranger's house because she thought someone needed help. He sets down his coffee. That's you, Maya. So yes, I'm offering you a job. Take it or don't, but the offer stands. She wants to say no. Wants to insist she can handle this on her own. But the truth is, she can't. Derek will get out eventually. And when he does... Okay, she says quietly. Okay, I'll take it. Gabriel smiles. It's the first real smile she's seen from him. Good. You start Monday. Monday comes faster than she expects. Gabriel arranges for her things to be moved from her old apartment to a new one. A 1-bedroom in a secure building with actual security cameras and a doorman who checks IDs. It's nicer than anywhere she's ever lived. The rent is covered for the first 6 months as part of her relocation package. The job is exactly what Gabriel promised. She manages his schedule, answers emails, coordinates property inspections and meetings with lawyers and accountants who probably know exactly what Gabriel is, but are paid enough not to care. She's good at it, better than good. Within a month, she's reorganized his entire filing system and caught 3 accounting errors that would have cost him thousands. Gabriel notices, praises her, gives her a raise she didn't ask for. They fall into a rhythm, work during the day, dinners a few times a week, conversations that start about business and drift into personal. She learns that Gabriel grew up in Chicago, that his father was a cop who died in the line of duty, that his mother remarried a man who introduced Gabriel to a world where laws were flexible and money talked. She tells him about her family, her sister who teaches elementary school, her parents who retired to Arizona and call once a week to make sure she's eating enough, her college boyfriend who cheated on her with her roommate, her string of bad jobs and worse decisions that led her to Derek. You deserve better, Gabriel says one night. They're at his house. She's been coming over more often, ostensibly to work, but really because his house feels safer than anywhere else. Then Derek. Then all of it. I'm getting better, Maya says. Thanks to you. Not thanks to me. You did this. You left. You survived. You rebuilt. With your help. With a push. The rest was all you. He's sitting close enough that she can smell his cologne. Something expensive and subtle. You're stronger than you think, Maya. She looks at him. At the man who saved her without being asked. Who gave her a job and a home. And a reason to believe life could be different. Can I ask you something? Always. That woman, 10 years ago. What was her name? His expression shuts down. For a second she thinks she's pushed too far. Then he says quietly, Sophia. What happened to her? Her boyfriend killed her, made it look like an accident. I knew, couldn't prove it. By the time I had enough resources to do something about it, he stops. She was already gone. I'm sorry. Don't be sorry. Be alive. He reaches out, touches her cheek. Be here. That's enough. The kiss happens without planning. One moment they're talking. The next, his hand is on her cheek, and her hand is on his chest, and their lips are meeting in a kiss that feels like falling and flying at the same time. When they break apart, she's breathless. Gabriel. Tell me to stop, he says quietly. Tell me this is a bad idea, and I'll stop. She should. She should say it's too soon. She's too broken. He's too dangerous. Should say anything except, don't stop. He doesn't. He kisses her again, deeper this time, pulling her close until there's no space between them. His hands are in her hair. Her hands are fisted in his shirt. Everything else, Derek, the past, the fear, burns away until there's nothing left except this moment. They don't sleep together that night. Gabriel pulls back before things go too far, makes her coffee, drives her home. I want you, he says at her door. But I want you sure. Not scared, not grateful. Sure. I am sure, she says. Then we have time. He kisses her forehead. All the time in the world. 6 months pass. Derek is released from jail. Maya doesn't know because she doesn't check. Doesn't care. Her life is different now. Better. She has a job she loves. An apartment she feels safe in. A man who looks at her like she's something precious. Gabriel proposes on a random Tuesday. No fanfare. No grand gesture. Just the two of them in his kitchen, making dinner, and him saying, "Marry me." She drops the knife she's holding. What? Marry me. He's not kneeling. Doesn't have a ring. Just has those gray-green-blue eyes locked on her face. I know it's fast. I know we've only been, but I know what I want. And I want you. Every day. Every night. Yes, she interrupts. Yes, Gabriel. Yes. He kisses her then, and it tastes like promise. Like safety. Like a future that doesn't include fear. They get married 3 months later. Small ceremony. Just her sister, his business associates, and a judge who doesn't ask questions. Maya wears a simple white dress. Gabriel wears a suit. They exchange vows in his living room with the city lights glittering through the windows. When the judge pronounces them married, Gabriel pulls her close and whispers, "You're safe now, forever, I promise." And she believes him, because Gabriel Beaumont doesn't make promises he can't keep. The reception is just the two of them and Jen, who is crying and laughing and hugging Maya so hard it hurts. "I'm so happy for you," Jen says. "You deserve this. You deserve everything." Later, when Jen is gone and it's just Maya and Gabriel in the house that's now her home too, she asks, "Did you really have Derek arrested? The warrants, the DUI, was that you?" Gabriel considers this. Would it bother you if it was? No, she realizes. It wouldn't. Then yes, it was me. He had warrants. I made sure he got pulled over. Made sure the officer ran his name. Made sure he failed the breathalyzer even though he'd only had 1 beer. He touches her face. "I told you, I don't let bad men hurt good women. And if he comes back?" "He won't." Gabriel's voice is flat, final. "I made sure of that too." She doesn't ask what that means, doesn't want to know. Some doors, once opened, can't be closed. Instead, she kisses her husband, her protector, her partner, the man who saw her at her lowest and decided she was worth saving. "Thank you," she whispers against his lips, "for everything." "Don't thank me," Gabriel says. "Just stay. Be here. Be mine." "Always," Maya promises, and she means it. Because sometimes the most dangerous thing you can do is trust a stranger. And sometimes that stranger becomes the only person who truly sees you. 6 years later, Maya stands in the kitchen of their home, Not the one Gabriel owned when they met, but a new one they bought together, and packs lunches for their daughter. Emma is 4 years old, with her father's eyes and her mother's smile. She's singing a song from some cartoon, off-key and too loud, and Maya has never been happier. Gabriel comes downstairs, tie still undone, hair still messy. Is that my lunch or Emma's? Yours. Emma's has the princess stickers. How do you tell the difference? Because Emma insists on princess stickers. You insist on actual food. He laughs, kisses her, steals a grape from Emma's lunch. Fair point. The doorbell rings. Maya frowns. Expecting someone? No. Gabriel's expression shifts, not worried, but alert. He goes to the door, checks the security camera, then opens it. Martinez is standing there. Older now, grayer, but still recognizable. Mr. Beaumont, Mrs. Beaumont, sorry to bother you. No bother, Gabriel says smoothly. What can I do for you? Derek Morrison was found dead this morning. Apparent suicide. Thought you'd want to know. The world tilts. Maya grabs the counter. What? Hanged himself in his apartment. Left a note. Said he couldn't live with what he'd done. Apologized to several people, including you, Mrs. Beaumont. Martinez hands her an envelope. This is a copy. For your records. She takes it with numb fingers. Doesn't open it. Any reason you're telling us this? Gabriel asks. No reason. Just thought, given the history, you'd want closure. Martinez nods to Maya. You're safe now. Really safe. He can't hurt you anymore. After he leaves, Maya finally opens the envelope. The note is short. Derek's handwriting, rushed and shaky. I'm sorry for everything. I was wrong. You deserved better. I hope you found it. She looks at Gabriel, at the man who promised to keep her safe, who promised Derek would never come back. Did you? No, Gabriel says firmly. I didn't. I wouldn't. Not without telling you first. She believes him, because Gabriel doesn't lie to her. Never has. Then maybe he actually couldn't live with himself. Maybe guilt caught up. Maybe, Gabriel takes the note, reads it. Maybe he finally realized what he'd lost. Maya doesn't cry. She burned through all her tears for Derek years ago. Instead, she walks to her daughter, picks her up, holds her close. Mommy? Emma asks. What's wrong? Nothing, baby. Nothing's wrong. And it isn't. For the first time in years, nothing is wrong. Derek is gone. Her family is safe. She has a husband who would burn the world to protect her, and a daughter who will never know what it's like to be afraid in her own home. That night, after Emma is asleep, Gabriel finds her on the balcony. You okay? Yeah, Maya says, and she means it. I'm okay. He's really gone. I know. Do you feel guilty? She considers this. No, I feel free. Gabriel pulls her close. Good. You should. You deserve to be free. They stand there in the darkness, the city lights spread out below them like stars. And Maya thinks about that night 6 years ago, about a food delivery note that said, please help, and a stranger who decided to answer it, about how sometimes the most dangerous decision you can make is to trust someone, and how sometimes that decision saves your life. I love you, she tells Gabrielle. I love you too, he says. Always. Always. It's a promise, a vow, a truth that neither of them will ever break. And as Maya stands there in her husband's arms, safe and loved and free, she knows that she would make the same choice again, would walk into that stranger's house, would trust him, would let him into her life, because some strangers aren't strangers at all. Some strangers are exactly who you've been waiting for.